From assassination attempts to robbing banks, these people have seen and done it all. Turns out some people ruin their shot at being rich even after getting millions of dollars in the lottery. We can call it the lottery curse or just careless spending, but these people prove that getting money isn't everything. You have to know how to keep it too. Here are some of the dumbest lottery winners ever who lost it all. Number 10. SHARON TIRABASSI. Starting off, we already have some very disastrous people. When she won a $10.5 million Lotto Super 7 jackpot in 2004, SHARON TIRABASSI had been living off welfare. So if she wanted to blow a little bit of money on partying after that, it would totally be understandable. But this Canadian woman takes the word excess to the next level. And after almost a decade of the most decadent vacations and designer clothes, and spending a truckload of her cash on a mansion, she found out that her money wasn't bottomless. Shocker. By the time 2013 rolled around, SHARON was riding a bus to her part-time job to try to support her children. It's a sad fall, but not as bad as some of the ones that are to come. At least she saved some money for the kids, because the same can't be said for this next one. Number 9. Gerald Muzdwagen. Gerald Muzdwagen won an absurd $10 million from a $2 lotto ticket, but even his great luck couldn't save him from his absolutely terrible life decisions, because almost immediately afterward, he'd bought a house that doubled as a nightclub of all things. Between his mindless spending, his ever-growing legions of hangers-on, and the legal entanglements he seemed to collect like infinity stones, the money disappeared. 7 years after he'd won the lottery, he was doing manual labor on a farm to support his girlfriend and 6 kids. He soon hanged himself in his parents' garage. Sad as that is, there are people on this list who had much worse and much more embarrassing fates. Number 8. Evelyn Adams. If losing money from one lottery is bad enough, what about 2? New Jersey resident Evelyn Adams can tell you all about it, because despite having won a total of $5.4 million, she still somehow managed to blow it all away due to her compulsive gambling habit. Talk about carelessness. Before she knew it, she'd lost all her money to either casinos or her friends and family, whom she shared them with, and was flat broke and living in a trailer park. Turns out we should go easy on the partying. Not that this next one got the memo. Number 7. Michael CAROLL. You have to make exceptionally bad decisions to have documentaries made about you, but go big or go home has always been Mickey Carroll's motto. When he won $14.4 million in the lottery in 2002, Mickey was just 19 and working as a sanitation worker. He'd soon become a case study for why people that young shouldn't have that amount of money. Carroll bought everything he laid his eyes on: gold jewelry, expensive cars, and even a lakeside mansion to support his drug-fueled partying. By 2012, he was broke and living off unemployment checks. Recently, he's gotten a slaughterhouse job where he makes $500 a week. According to Carroll, he's perfectly satisfied with his life, and he would do it all again if he got the chance. It's a good thing he's doing well now, because not everyone is able to escape the drugs. Number 6. Willie Hurt. It must have hurt to lose all his money, but that's not even close to the worst thing in William Hurt's story. Willie was a happily married family man when he won $3.1 million in the Michigan lottery in 1989, and it ruined his life. Within 2 years, he had lost custody of his children and was in the middle of a divorce, and had already thrown most of his fortune away on cocaine. He was even charged with the murder of his girlfriend. But if you think that people up till now were bad, wait until you see what's coming, because these 5 had it a lot worse. Number 5. William Post. If there's anyone who knows just how jealous people can get when you get money, it's Bud Post. And if there's anyone who can tell you how to spend money on the most useless things, it's Bud Post. Right after he won the lottery of $16.2 million, he bought a plane of all things, despite not having a license to fly it. To make matters worse, his ex, who was also his landlady, sued him for not paying her, and he lost over a third of his winnings. Within a year of winning the lottery, he was $1 million in debt. Bud ended up living on $450 a month and food stamps until his death in 2006. What little money he had left, he had given to his siblings for their failed attempts at starting businesses. The same brother then tried to hire an assassin to call a hit on him. Sometimes you have to keep your money to yourself, even if you have good intentions. Number 4. Janet Leigh. And what better way to talk about good intentions than Janet Lee? When the then 52-year-old Korean immigrant won $18 million in the Illinois lottery in 1993, she quit her job at the wig store and vowed to help as many people as she could. When she filed for bankruptcy 8 years later, she was $2.5 million in debt. Like everyone else, she did throw a lot of money away on useless purchases. Her gambling habit alone cost her more than $300,000 a year, but she lost most of it through donations of all things. She meant well, but she simply gave away too much. She donated over $1 million to Washington University to build a new library. Perhaps she should have kept some of it for herself. But this next person did the complete opposite of giving to others. Number 3. James Haynes. James Haynes worked as an overnight security guard in 1998 when he won $19 million playing California's Super Lottery game and immediately went on a massive spending spree, buying supercars and several houses. To make matters worse, his wife left him and took half the money. He started robbing banks to keep up his lifestyle and support his heroin addiction. But robbing banks didn't mean he was good at it, because he was caught in 2017 and pleaded guilty for bank robbery and was sentenced to 23 months in prison. Number 2. Billie Bob Harrell Jr. We're coming into the top spot for the worst lottery winners, and Billie Bob Harrell Jr. is in a class of his own. He blew through $31 million in just 2 years. That kind of spending definitely breaks a few records. He and his wife not only bought supercars and massive houses for themselves and their families, but they also donated millions to the church and individual members of the congregation. But when the money ended, so did his marriage. And just 2 years after his lottery dreams came true, his son found him dead in his own room. But even if we combined all the money everyone on this list has burned through yet, it's still pocket change compared to what the number 1 on this list wasted. Number 1. Jack Whittaker. Andre Jack Whittaker, unlike most of the people on this list, was already wealthy before he won the lottery. His company was making more than $15 million a year. On Christmas 2002, he was given the largest jackpot ever awarded to a single Powerball ticket ever, having won over $300 million. Whittaker reveled in the power having money gave him. He gave heaps of money to diner waitresses, his local strip club, and even strangers. He even bought the woman who sold him the ticket a new house and a new car, and donated about $15 million to build churches in West Virginia. This excess show of wealth was probably the worst thing he could have done, because those wanting to take advantage of his wealth came running. His company was hit with frivolous lawsuits from people who wanted to get the jackpot money, causing him millions in legal fees. He started drinking and getting into fights. His wife left, his house burned down, he ran afoul of the law, and he lost a daughter to cancer and a granddaughter to drugs. In 2020, Whittaker died at the age of 72, having lost pretty much all the money he'd gained from the lottery. But if there's anything to be learned from all these people, it's that the only ones good at being rich are those who were born rich. If you like this video, how about you check one of our other ones out for more content like this?